Okay, now let's go to two-dimensional. Well, in two-dimensional, it's a different story. We need to be careful a little bit. Suppose I ask you to solve and graph x plus y less than or equal to 1. Okay, it says x plus y. If I add x value with the y value, the sum must be less than equals to 1. Step 1, follow these steps. Graph the equality. What do I mean by that? Graph x plus y equals to 1. This is your very first step. It's going to be a line. Okay, let's graph it. It's not that hard to graph this guy. This is my x-axis, this is my y-axis. If I plug in 0 for x, y is 1. If I plug in 0 for y, x is 1. So this is my line. It wasn't very complicated to graph. I have a decreasing line on the right. This is x plus y equals to 1. Step 2, use a checkpoint. A checkpoint? What is a checkpoint? So look at this line. This line and 0 and 0 as the origin. Is 0 and 0 satisfy this inequality? In this example, use 0 and 0. Does 0 and 0 satisfy the inequality x plus y less than or equal to 1? What do I mean by that? I mean to plug in 0 for x, 0 for y, and check to see if left-hand side is less than equals to 1 or not. My x is 0, okay, plug in 0. My y 0, yes, plug in 0. The operation in between is addition. 0 plus 0 is 0. Is left-hand side less than equals to 1? Yes, of course. Yes. 0 is less than equals to 1. What's the meaning of that? It means that all points along with 0 and 0 are in the solution. Okay, so take a look at this. Where is 0 and 0? It's here. All points around the origin are the solution, are part of the solution of this inequality. So as you can see, we have infinitely many points. All of these points are included. They are part of the solutions. 0 and 0 satisfy as 1 point, checkpoint, 1 point representative of all of these points. All of these points. So in math, they do not just use dots. They just shade this side as the solution, or they write x plus y is less than equals to 1. It means that if I take any random x and y, add them together, this number is less than equals to 1. You won't believe me? Just pick any random point. What is the y? What is the x? Add them together. It is always less than equals to 1. Okay, let's go over another example. Question says, solve and graph the following. Let's use a larger than as well. Graph x minus y, so larger than a half. Let's use a fraction here. So step one, as always, graph the line x minus y equals to a half. Okay, guys, just note that there is no equality here. This guy is going to be a dashed line. So let me put that in parentheses. Since we don't have equality in x minus y larger than the half, this line is a dashed line. Okay, let's graph this. Okay, very good. My x-axis, my y-axis. So if I plug in 0 for my x, my y is negative a half. It's going to be here. If my y is equal to 0, my x is a half. This guy is going to be here. Let's connect this together and remember that it's going to be a dashed line. So when you're connecting these two lines, it is a dashed line. Okay, very good. You have negative a half and you have a half as your x. Step two, use a check point. Okay, a checkpoint, you're going to use a representative that is or is not a solution of this inequality. Suppose I take 0 and 0 again. Let us use 0 and 0 as the checkpoint. Check if 0 and 0 satisfy this inequality, x minus y larger than a half. What's the meaning of that? Well, my x is 0, my y is 0, just plug them in here. On the left-hand side, you have 0 minus 0, which is 0. Is 0 larger than a half? Of course not. So this is your conclusion. Since 0 is not larger than a half, it means that 0 and 0 along with its nearby points are not the solution. Okay, what's the meaning of that? So if it's not the solution, if 0 and 0 along with the points around 0 and 0 not the solution, then what it is? The opposite. All points are on the opposite side of the line are going to be the solution. All of these points that are not near 0 and 0, it means that they are in the opposite part, are going to be the solution. Again, when it comes to math, we're going to just shade this part. This is x minus y larger than a half.